Without further ado, and after a long wait and debate, Rick Thompson with the news.
Good evening, everyone. It is the news. I'm Rick Thompson. It's July 28th, 2016. We just talked to Kerry Border, who told us a lot of information about Montana. Let's talk about Oregon. Oregon has recreational marijuana, but the entire state doesn't have it. And it's only about in half of the physical state. Most of eastern Oregon and a good bit of the western half chose to ban recreational businesses after the 2014 election. But that topic will be back on the ballot this year in several dozen local communities. This will give that rec industry in Oregon another chance to expand even more and offer those existing medical dispensaries the chance to serve customers they're currently not allowed to distribute to. So far, 46 cities and 6 counties have put recreational marijuana on the general election ballot, according to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission's website. An additional 40 cities and 13 counties have enacted straight-out bans on recreational businesses, and that's because more than 55% of voters opposed recreational legalization when it was voted on in 2014. Therefore, local officials were allowed to pass ordinances prohibiting recreational businesses without a separate vote of the people. Shelly Amon, who's the owner of Going Green Dispensary in the Oregon town of Albany, says he loses about 10 to 12 customers a day because local officials opted out of rec. Many people hope voters there approve it again, as they did 2 years ago. Who is the average marijuana consumer? We know a little bit more about that now. Newly released data from the Cannabis Market Intelligence Platform Headset has found that nearly 69% of marijuana consumers are men, with 31.1% women, and that was reported in Forbes magazine. Pardon me. Interested in age, the average marijuana buyer is 37.6 years old. The female customer is 38.2 years old, and the average man is 37.4 years old. We talk about seniors, but they don't account for very much of the market. 65 and older make up less than 5% of the customer base in this platform. 20.39% are between the ages of 25 and 29, and consumers between 21 and 34 make up 51.8% of all purchases. Most cannabis consumers spend between $25 and $50 per trip to a cannabis shop, and $33 is the average spend. Now, while flower is still the overwhelming favorite product, men tend to buy more flower and women buy more edibles. We talk about the Democratic National Convention. How much better to celebrate the Democratic National Convention than a 51-foot-long inflatable joint walking down the street towards the Democratic National Convention headquarters? That absolutely happened in downtown Philadelphia Monday this week. Marijuana advocates marched towards the DNC headquarters, calling for the full legalization of cannabis. That included members of the Philadelphia chapter of NORML and members of the DCMJ. Now, the two 51-foot-long inflatable objects were part of an operation called Jaywalk, a 4-mile jaunt down Broad Street from City Hall to the Wells Fargo Center, where the convention gets underway. That's some balls, people. 4 miles holding a big old joint above your head. That's a long way to go. According to a video posted to Twitter of marchers parading the joint through the city streets, one said, "Hillary, deschedule cannabis now." And the second one said, "Burned by the DNC." A Facebook event page asks groups demanding all members of the Democratic Party endorse the full legalization of cannabis. You know who else is trying to endorse the full legalization of cannabis? The nation of Italy. They want to go at Colorado style. The Italian parliament is gathering to discuss a proposal for marijuana legalization, and if passed, the bill on the table is similar to the proposed Colorado voter passed in 2012 that would allow cultivation, possession, and use of marijuana for Italian citizens over age 18. They would be allowed to grow as many as 5 plants for personal use, have up to 15 grams of cannabis in their homes, and possess a maximum of 5 grams in public, also authorizing cannabis clubs where up to 50 people could gather and smoke together. The cannabis would be taxed at a rate of 5%, and the government would issue licenses allowing the cultivation of marijuana for the purpose of selling it to recreational customers. The tax would be used to fund Italy's effort to crack down on the illegal drug trafficking. Final story tonight before we go back to break. Oh, the times they are a-changing. More Americans than ever are favoring legalization, including record number of Republican voters. According to the latest poll numbers from YouGov, American support for legalization rose from 52% in December to 55% in July, 3% in a half a year. Most of that change can be attributed to rising support among Republican voters, who now narrowly support marijuana legalization, with 45% of likely voters in favor and only 42% opposed. Those numbers were very different in 2012, when only 28% of Republican voters favored legalization and 60% opposed such a move, by a similar YouGov poll. Independent voters, their support for legalization registers even higher, up at 55%. Folks, that's the music. That means Planet Green Trees will be back after the break. We're going to rock some Theo. We're going to roll some Eric. And hopefully we're not going to smoke them.